morning. Welcome to Conversations with Annassa. So let's start with meditation. The guides gave a new meditation, a new healing program in the last week. So I'm going to share that with you this morning as our opening meditation. So take your attention inside. And we'll breathe into each of the energy centers just to begin. So take your attention down to where your energy field meets the earth and the center there. Breathe into that center and feel for the space between the breaths. Use your attention to allow the energy to gather in this energy center. And you will reach a point where your energy accumulates to the point where you naturally allow it to rise up to the energy center at the tip of your tailbone. Wait for that to happen naturally. Now breathe into the center at the tip of your tailbone. And feel into the space between the breaths. Now allow your attention to rise up to the energy center below your belly button. Breathe into that space. Gently allow your attention to rise up to your solar plexus, just below the V in your rib cage. Breathe into that space and hold your attention in between the breaths. Gently allow your attention to rise up to your heart center. Breathe into that space. Gently allow your attention to rise up to your throat center. Breathe into that space and hold your attention there. When you're ready, allow the energy to rise up to your third eye, just above and behind and between your eyebrows, in the center of your head. Allow your attention and your energy to expand upward and feel the top of your head open completely for this 1,000-petaled lotus, a 1,000-petaled flower that opens on the top of your head to receive pranic plasma, pure love. Breathe into that space between your breaths and hold your attention on the top of your head. When you're ready, allow the energy to rise up to the space where your fingers would touch if you made a halo around your head. And hold your attention there. Breathe into that space between the breaths over your head. And allow it to expand. And now we'll go to the healing phase of this meditation. So we feel that everyone here has been to an Annassa temple before. So we want you to, in your own way, take yourself to the Annassa temple. And we'll just take a few minutes while you gather yourself and go to the Annassa temple. When you arrive, you step up to the door, open the door, and you see a treatment table in the center of the temple. You close the door behind you, walk over to the table and lie down on your back. If you need support for various parts of your body, imagine that support. Make yourself comfortable lying down on your back. And when you're ready, Annassa is available, pouring energy directly into your belly button. That is pranic plasma infused with adamantine particles. Adamantine particles are the substance of love that creates the radiant aura that we sometimes see around plants, spiritual beings, spiritual artifacts. This energy is pouring into your belly button, and your job is just to allow this energy to completely permeate the center of your being with pure, raw love and the pranic plasma healing energy. Feel it radiating out from your belly button in through the root system of your central nervous system, being absorbed deeply, deeply, deeply into your body, healing throughout the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And just allow this healing to take place. We'll sit in this energy for a little while in silence. Breathe deeply and imagine that you just become a sponge that's taking in this energy through every cell of your body. Allowing yourself to become one with love itself. When you feel complete, you can sit up on the table. Feel the gratitude for this experience. And when you're ready, walk to the door. Let yourself out of the Annassa temple. Stop and turn to express your gratitude before you walk back to the white room. And gently bring yourself back to this exchange, to this field of awareness. So we welcome your questions today and any response you might have to that meditation and healing transmission. So welcome. How may we serve? We're so happy to be with you this morning. We feel it.
Hi, Annassa.
Hi. How are you this
That was
morning?
good.
Hmm.
I'm good. That was such a beautiful meditation. And the
You're
Annassa
welcome.
temple, so powerful. I could feel it completely. Yeah, what a joyous thing to have that place to go. Can we go there anytime?
You can go there anytime.
Okay.
And this will be up on the website soon. So you can even go there through the guided meditation whenever you want.
Okay. Wonderful. Yeah, I
If
loved it.
anybody doesn't know how to get to the website, Brenda will put the information on the chain today so that you can go there. It's a
All right.
YouTube site.
Okay. Thank you.
You're so welcome. We're so glad to bring this because this is a practice anyone can do anywhere at any time. And all of us, there's not a human being alive that's not facing difficult situations at one time or another where this healing energy can really, really serve you to reconstitute yourself in the highest, whatever the outcome of your experience. And we're going to say it, great healing can come at the time of death. So this is not just about staying here in a higher quality body. It's about becoming a higher quality of energy in this moment, a higher quality of healing energy yourself in your beingness, so that not only are you healed, but every life that your life touches, because you become that healing energy yourself. We welcome your questions and we feel your gratitude.
So my experience with that was a desire to fade away, not be of this world anymore. Um, and maybe that's a healing that I need. Dispassionate, there's no pandering or anger. It's just move on. That's the highest best.
So the question is this, or the report of the experience is that the desire to not be of this world is arising for this person. And the question is, maybe that's for the highest best. What we would say is that for a very, very long time, you have already not been of this world. That wish has been granted while you've been here for a long time. The key to this life is to allow that part to be healed, so that it doesn't matter where you are, so that you can be here without struggle. You can be not here without struggle. It doesn't matter. That the here is the love itself. So this is a very important practice for you to do regularly as you feel into what it is we're saying. Does this make any sense?
I guess so. I said there was no anger, but as there is anger in being stuck in this body. So that was a lie.
So we invite you to welcome the anger and allow it to teach you about love. As it transforms, because everything is love, including that anger. It's anger trapped. It's love trapped in anger. That's always true for everyone. That's not just for you. Everyone in this world has love trapped in negativity. And so the beautiful rainbow travels through fields of darkness for all of us. And in allowing that darkness, we understand that the spectrum of awareness includes everything and all parts are welcome. And that if we wish to experience the absolute highest, we cannot exclude the absolute most painful from that equation. And when we allow ourselves to embrace it all, that is what is meant by the one taste. All parts are welcome. Everything is included. No part of ourselves is excluded or rejected. There is nothing about ourselves that is not love in one form or another. We are here to understand all of that, to take in all of that. It's not an either or equation. It's everything. There is nothing outside of love. There is a part of us, every single one of us, that looks for reasons to exclude ourselves from love. This is part of our matrix of belief. So when we understand that that's what we've been taught, when we find ourselves doing that, we can bring our understanding, and Ho'oponopono begins to make more sense. Because we are teaching ourselves how to love ourselves, every part of ourselves. Including the lies that were fed to us as matrix of belief. And as we work inside to dissolve whatever obstructions appear, we just become more and more love. And as we feel and feel and feel, we begin to understand truth in a quite visceral way. And we all have that already. It just becomes more, as does everything as we do our inner work. There is always more. How may we serve further? Does that answer your question? Mm. How may we serve further? Brenda?
Good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning.
Am I allowed to wish you a happy birthday here?
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I think that's adding to the power of the energy of the day.
Wonderful, wonderful. Certainly can feel it. Can we hear a little bit more about the adamantine crystals and maybe the frequency of that? And it sounds to me like it sounds material in my mind, and I'm having a little trouble understanding. The pranic plasma seems easy to understand. Adamantine crystals are a little different. Seems like there's a little stuckness.
Well, they aren't crystals, first of all. They're adamantine particles. So you can think of them more as like a kind of atomic energy of love. You can think of them like that. And if you're around a person who's gifted spiritually and there are flowers in the environment that are being gifted to the person, and how the flowers kind of come alive and have this sense of spirituality that they emanate in that environment. Have you had that experience?
Yes.
That's adamantine particles.
Great.
So, and this happens in any religious environment where people come to pray. For example, when you come into a church, It's full of adamantine particles. If there have been a lot of people participating with great depth of surrender into the love, there will be adamantine particles that have accumulated in that environment. So it's not limited to any particular religion or any belief system, or it's about flow from the deepest part of the multiverse into this world, the flow of love. And so it is kind of a junction between the spiritual and the material, that you are able to see the aura of this, of beings and substances in nature as they emanate these adamantine or are enlivened by these adamantine particles. Does that help?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're so welcome. So we'll say a word about spiritual materialism, because, you know, when Rebecca was younger, she thought that was like a dirty word, a misuse of spiritual power, materialism. And then there's a point where you suddenly realize, she suddenly realized, that without the physicality to support one's life, like a place to live and food and a certain amount of abundance, without that, spirituality is not possible. And in our particular culture, going to a cave and withdrawing is not an option. Our culture doesn't support that. And so a certain amount of spiritual materialism is required for us to be able to flourish in this world. And that is called flow. That is the flow of alignment, which provides everything that we need in the time and space that we need it to fulfill our blueprint. And this happens as we come into alignment, and there is a union of the three times, past, present, and future, in our alignment, where we feel what is needed as already provided in the flow of what is. And so the past, present, and future come into a certain kind of union of alignment, and what is needed is provided. And it's not our job exactly to figure out how, who, what, when, and where, but to focus on the alignment, and then how we participate in that field of awareness will be articulated to us. And as we learn how to participate, we learn everything that's required about becoming aligned in that field, which allows manifestation. It doesn't ask, it doesn't require, it doesn't beg, it doesn't, there is none of that. There is only the union of past, present, and future, and what is required appears in this state of alignment. And so there is not the asking for something in the future. There is just the awareness of a vacuum and the filling of the vacuum in now. We hope that makes sense. How may we serve further? So I'm 68 today. I feel about 25. Thank you for that. Oh, what a beautiful card. Hmm. Hmm. So the numbers keep going by. But as we all are in this moment, filled with love, pranic plasma, and adamantine particles, it's hard to feel the decrepitude that, as a younger person, I imagined would be available at this age. How may we serve further?
So how do we address the continuation of the passing of the years? Do we buy into a social story and matrix of belief that we should be, quote, as we get older, we should be more sedentary? Is this stuff we buy into, or is this really physically happening, or is it a mind over matter thing?
It is definitely not a mind over matter thing. It is a spirit. It is becoming one with the deepest part of ourselves and responding to whatever particular, since we're talking about the physical, whatever particular physical manifestation appears. Now, we all understand that nobody gets out of here alive. But that doesn't mean that it's required that we disintegrate before we get to the finish line. That may happen. We're all under different sorts of pressures and strains as we live our lives. And, there's some wear and tear on the machinery. At the same time, when we are constantly coming into alignment with pure love itself, there is a certain kind of presence that comes through us as pure love and adamantine particles that can act as a kind of preservative, for want of a better word, but it doesn't have any bad chemicals in it.
As long as it's not kale.
It's just love. Sometimes it's kale for some people. Sometimes it's, who knows what. And of course, the medical establishment constantly changes what we should or should not be eating. And so this is because there are about 4, maybe 5 different diets that work for human beings. And depending on the healthcare practitioner, they tend to recommend the one that works for them, or the set of chemicals that works for them, depending on what kind of healthcare disease management they're practicing. So this is why there's so much variety. There's not just one diet that's good for every human being. There are probably 4, maybe 5. And so it depends on what chemistry you have, what works for you. And within those 4 or 5, there are different foods and substances that work better for some people than others, because we all have different stresses and strains, and we develop intolerance to foods that we've had probably every day for our whole life. Sometimes we can develop an allergy to some of those foods and do better if we don't eat them so much of the time. But this is about symptom management. So the real question is about alignment. Where are you aligning yourself, and what are you aligning yourself with as you go through your day and you watch your thoughts? And where are you really putting your attention? Is it on alignment with the highest, or is it on something else? And that doesn't mean that we go through our entire day thinking of nothing but alignment. But it does mean that we set ourselves up in the morning. Before we begin our day, we come into alignment, and we notice throughout the day if we are expressing frequencies that we would rather not be expressing, and we use our mind to notice. And we work to create a different balance within ourselves. And then at some point toward the end of the day, we recalibrate again into our alignment, and we flush out any of the toxicity from our day that we might have accumulated, and reestablish our alignment. And over time of doing this every day, that alignment becomes more and more a part of our continuous experience. And then we start addressing the deeper patterns in ourselves, and that might create, as they begin to surface, a sense of disequilibrium for a while, as we go deeper within ourselves to address matrix of belief that might be from before this lifetime. And so we begin identifying the lineage matrix of belief that reflects the distortions that were taken on in the matrix of belief by those who came before us in our cellular lineage. And then as we develop an equilibrium with that and continue to expand, so do the energies that we attract to come into harmony with. And this is an endless process. And as we master certain fields of energy, then our energy expands. And as that happens, our sphere of influence also expands to the point where we're not just talking to ourselves, but we're also talking to the people that we're connected to. And as that expands, the sphere of our connection expands. And this is true for everybody, not just Rebecca or other people that you know who have spiritual contact. And we are trying to provide this to you because it's available to every human being. Every single one. And so you are not selected for divine rejection. You are selected to come into harmony with the all of the all that is. And that's why we're here. To help make that your reality. How may we serve further? Just so you know, that's a wave hitting a speed bump. You all will have experiences like that. They mean nothing more than a wave hitting a speed bump. It's energy flowing. And when it hits resistance, it burps, just like that. No meaning. No danger. How may we serve further? Did that answer the question, Brenda?
Does the process require more discipline or more openness and flexibility to divine?
The answer is yes. There is some discipline required. You know, you do have to sit down and get quiet and manage your energy enough to take your attention inside, hold your attention on these energy centers and allow them to open. So that is the process of alignment. And it takes discipline to get your butt on the cushion. And then to do the best you can. And some days it's total chaos and you just sit there in madness. And it's okay. That just happens. It happens. It doesn't mean failure or success. It just means that that's what that day is about. And total acceptance. All parts are welcome. And then there are days where you sit down and you're already there. And it's just more and more expansive. And this is why consistency over time is really important, so that you experience the extremes and you stop judging yourself for experiencing those extremes, because they are life itself, expressing itself through you. And we stop thinking that we have any idea of control over any of it. We don't. There's very little we have control over. We can decide to sit our butts down on the cushion. We can do our best to bring our attention there, and we can decide to be consistent about that. And it takes 21 days to make a habit. And so you have to do it every day for 21 days, and then it will be established. And understand that when you skip a day, you have to start over. So yes, that's discipline, and that's how discipline works. It's pretty simple. And then there's openness. Openness is the allowing of whatever you run into to be without judgment. And then you use your awareness to use Ho'oponopono when necessary, or to just breathe and expand, or some combination of both. And you become increasingly aware of yourself as fundamentally light. And as that experience begins to dawn, then discipline and expansion become part of the same thing. They're still always both there, and they're not contradictions. They're just two different parts of the same thing. As our awareness begins to merge ever more deeply with alignment with our blueprint and with the highest, with our highest and the highest of the whole. How may we serve further? How may we serve? We're just as happy to sit here in silence. The fullness of the day is really quite beautiful.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Drew.
I have a question about alignment and those small instances of alignment that happen in a day. Maybe we meet up with someone at the same moment when we're arriving at a place, say, for instance, or just a random occurrence that brings happiness to our heart, or just puts that smile. And yesterday that happened to me. I met up with Lama Wangdu right as he was arriving for a 100 handprint practice. And Dechen looked over and said, "Oh, would you like to help Lama in?" So it was one of those sweet moments of just walking with Lama Wangdu. And I take those for what they are and not try and dwell on them, but it keeps coming up in my mind this morning, like, wow, that was just so amazing that convergence happened right at that moment. But I try not to put too much weight on those, but maybe you might have something to say.
Well, it's exactly what it is, a convergence of energies at a particular moment that those energies were attracted. And so they recognized each other, beauteous, everything uplifted. And there you have it. But the residue of that experience of the openness and the love and the freedom and the connection and all of that expansiveness, that remains as long as you entertain it. And so the more we can learn from those experiences and sustain them within us, that may have been an experience in that particular arena that you hadn't mastered yet. So it was given to you. You were just lifted into that field. And now you have that. You're still in it, right? So you can just appreciate that and expand on it. It can become like riffing on a tune. You have this beautiful expansion and you can just share that with everybody you meet until they're drawn to you in that moment. And they walk away with that, oh my God, feeling, wow, blessed in the moment. So you hold that, you expand it, you live in it. And it's a new cultivation. This is a gift. So you can see how in an experience like that, it's easy to say, well, he's got that and I don't. But when you experience it as, wow, we have this. There's a convergence of energy here I'm participating in. And no rejection of self for whatever state you might have been whenever before that experience happened. That didn't occur. This is a blessing. So you just took that uplifting and you carried it away. And now it's you. Good work. How may we serve further? Now, that doesn't mean that if we have that experience and we walk away from it and go less than at some point, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with us. It just means we're human. And this is part of our matrix of belief that we, are less than. And as long as we entertain that matrix of belief, it will keep repeating itself until we decide that we no longer want to believe that anymore. And then we expand. So this is, again, the interaction of discipline and free will. We can decide at any moment that we no longer want to live from disappointment. And then, there's a coming up and learning to sustain that. Does that make sense? But having not accomplished that does not mean that we're less than, and therefore we can reject ourselves even more. See, there is a part of us that always wants to default to self-rejection. And so we want to shine the light on that part. It exists within every single one of us, so that we can shine the light on that part and say to it, all parts are welcome. Let go. Let the joy come. Let the love, peace, gratitude inform me so I can become more of that and less of anything else. This is our prayer, really, always. And so we sit on our cushion and we invite more love. We can do that practice that we started the day with. We can do that over and over and over until we accumulate enough pure raw love, pranic plasma, adamantine particles. When we accumulate enough to really be that, even for a moment, we are changed forever. And then we just make that moment bigger and bigger. That moment gives us a wedge so that we become that which nourishes ourselves endlessly, and then everyone we meet. So let's practice this a little bit more. What we'll do in the next few minutes is concentrate on transmitting. This will be open eye transmission, and you can receive in whatever way you wish, open eyes, closed eyes. As long as your hearts are open, we don't care what your eyes are doing. And let's come into alignment again and feel for that pranic plasma and adamantine particles that are coming toward you. So we'll be quiet now. Thank you so much. This has been a very, very beautiful time with you. We're so grateful. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yay.
Till next week. Bye for now.